Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
So this is the question asked in 2016. It is a 12.5 mark question, 200 words question. How globalization, okay, first it is about a simple term of how. This is the terminology they used. How globalization has led to the reduction of employment in the formal sector of the Indian economy. So it is speaking about the term called as globalization. This is the first keyword. Next. So how the globalization has led to the reduction of employment in the formal sector of the Indian economy. Simple as that. Next, second part of the question is increased informalization detrimental to the development of the country? So again it is like a opinion like question. Okay, whether it is detrimental or not. Being informalization, okay, so the economy is become informalization, whether it is detrimental to the economy or not. It's up to you whether you can say yes or no. You shouldn't use the term yes or no, but the answer should convey that it is yes or else it is no. And also please note that informalization is obviously it is detrimental to the economy. You can't claim any positive things in the informalization of the economy. So for this second part of this question, is increase in informalization detrimental to the development of the country, means it's obviously yes. Okay, so there is a no another side for this answer. Okay, so first is how the globalization has led to the reduction of the employment in the formal sector of the Indian economy. What should be the introduction? Okay, you can for this question you have the n number of introduction you can quote. You can say that 1991 LPG era that led to the thing called as globalization into the Indian market. You can say that, or else simply what is globalization? That is also the possible intro you can say. Next, or else you can speak about the informal sector of India. That is also you can say, for example, informal sector, more than 90% of the India's working population is rest with this informal sector, and they are contribute around more than 50% of India's GDP. So there is a n number of way to address this question for an introduction. So you when it comes to my answer, I will simply say what is globalization. That is the way you can address the question. Next, how the globalization has led to the reduction of the employment in the formal sector of the Indian economy. So the question itself saying that globalization leads to the informalization of the Indian economy. The question itself said that. So it is a true one. Now you have to say that how it was happened. That is the thing you have to say. How it happened. Okay. So the first is, there is the, first of all, globalization means it is the free movements of the goods, people, money, everything, okay, outside the country. So free movement. In that scenario, that will obviously lead to the reduction in the formal employment, because there is a huge influx of the human resources or else economic resources, natural resources. In that scenario, any company is not ready to keep an employee as a formal one. They try to have the informal one, contractual laborer, because there is a need of skill. If there is no skill, means they will ready to replace it. And also in the global scenario, the market will changes. It is continuously change based on the demand and supply. It will change. Okay, so the employee need to be adapted to that thing. If it is not happening, means they will ready to change that, change the employee. At that scenario, if it is a formal employee, means how the economy will survey, how the company will survey. So they will obviously have the informal people in their premises. So that is the thing, okay, happened. That is the thing leads to the informalization after the introduction of the globalization into the India. Okay, so the free movement of the goods and the text and the human leads to the outsourcing. That is also happened. Okay, next, growth of the PPP model, that is reduction, that leads to the reduction in the public sector. See, around 99.99% the formal employees are rest with the public sector, which means the PSUs, public sector banks, or else the government employee. All the peoples are the formal employees. After the introduction of the globalization, the growth of the private players, that led to the creation of the PPP model, public private partnership model, that leads to the reduction in the certain public sectors. What they did is they will disinvested it, they privatize it. So by the way, that leads to the reduction in the formal sector and the growth in the informal sector. Next, employment. When it comes to employment, it is better to have the contractual labor. Okay, because consider that I am a person, I need a skilled labor. If there is no skilled labor, means I just throw that person and I will try to incorporate the skilled person. For that I need to keep the person in the informal way. For that only this thing happened. Next is the growth of the service sector. Obviously, if it is a service sector, means it is a changing one. There is a, earlier it is a, if a person know Python, he can be employed. Okay, afterwards it changed. Okay, after C, C++ and then Java. Okay, so now the UI UX. So the thing is going on improving. Now it is the growth of AI, IoT. So the person who is more aware of that, they only be the part of the sector. So the company itself, they need the informal people. Okay, informal employment, informal sectors into them. So all these things leads to the informalization after the globalization. This is the way you have to give the answer. This is the body of the answer, and you are just addressing the first part of the question. Next, second part is increased informalization detrimental to the development of the country. You can say yes or no, but it is true that increased informalization is detrimental to the development of the country. Obviously, consider that there is a huge company. Consider that it is a Tata or else Reliance. Suddenly, what they are going to do is, for example, if they are going to do the layoff the persons, okay, around they are going to lay off 70% of their employee, and they are replacing them with automation. In that scenario, that is what it is actually happened is, due to their informal being, okay, because they are not a formal employee, they are the part of the informal sector, so they can be easily laid off. In that scenario, if it is the 75% of their employees going to be unemployed, means that is obviously going to affect the India's economy, because huge inflow of the unemployed people into the economy, that will definitely going to affect the economy of the India. So only informalization is the bad one. Okay, so this is the one thing. Okay, easy layoff that leads to the unemployment, that will create a economic crisis of our India. Next, being a part of the informal sector, they don't have the certain social welfare like health insurance, life insurance, okay, and then pensions. So all these things are the certain of social securities. they don't have this thing. So obviously that is also a detrimental to the economy. What if the breadwinner of the family died? So the family will be affected. They will be pushed into the below poverty line. So that is detrimental to the economy. If it is the person is having certain insurance facility, means by the way the family somewhat they can revive their economic problems. But if there is no insurance facility, means what they will do? So it will create it will expand the below poverty line people. So that is the detrimental to the Indian economy. If it is a formal employee, means definitely they will have a pension, sir. After retirement they will get a pension, okay, and then they have the insurance, health insurance, life insurance, accidental insurance. So there are a lot of things they will have. If it is not for them, means how that will definitely leads to the detriment for the economy. Okay, so there are other things called as hampering the productivity. Obviously, consider that I am a contractual laborer. Okay, so in that scenario, I won't be more loyal to that company, because I have a thought that anyway this company is one day they will throw away me. So why I need to do lot of work to that company? It's better, see, consider that they gave me a target of 100, means I will just end up with producing 100. I won't do much more for that company because of the lack of loyalty. Because one day they will throw away me. In that scenario, why I have to give my most potential thing? I am not ready to do that. So that is also detrimental to the economy. Okay, and then and the last thing is lack of proper wages. Okay, we have the certain acts called as minimum wage act, but even though we have a minimum wage act, still consider the person who is employed in a tea shop, consider the person who is employed in any hotels, restaurants, they don't even aware about this minimum wage act. They will ready to work for a very lesser pay. Okay, this is because being an informal sector, being a part of the informal sector, and also being a part of the informal sector means consider that a COVID like situation. The people who are employed in a formal sector, they are in the safer zone. Yeah, whatever things happened, they will get a salary at the end of that month. But being a part of the informal sector means, so that will affect the economy. So by the way, being a part of the informal sector is detrimental. Okay, and also the huge growth in the informal sector is due to the issue of this globalization. Okay, so you have to address this thing, and also you can conclude in that way. Now the government is taking lot of measures to change this informal sector into the formal sector by providing certain social insurance coverages. You can quote lot of schemes. Okay, there is a schemes for the street vendors. Okay, so there are the portal too of portal. There are the persons who are in the part of the informal sector, they can register it. By the way, they will get certain insurance benefits. So these are the things you have to say in the conclusion part. Okay, so this is the flow of the answer you have to follow, and this is the way you have to give the introduction and the conclusion. Okay, thank you.